all the unique characters,
I do let him bang. Yeah, I'm a legend, man. I'm building my legacy.
all the stories and perspectives featured weekly.
I wasn't fully committed to that choke, and I kind of sunk into it, started squeezing tighter, and I kind of heard him gurgle a little bit. I was like, oh.
And all the combat sports you could ask for in the best state in the U.S.
Like I said, Ohio versus the world. It's going to happen for sure. Watch out.
It'll be cool, man. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to show them why the Ohio MMA scene is, in my opinion, one of the best MMA scenes in the country.
This is Forged in OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 92 of Forged in Ohio. My name is Jake Murren, and as always, I'm the host of the podcast. And he is at the end of last week's episode that winners from Cage Thunder 28 Fight Night in the Flats would be featured on the show sooner rather than later. I'm happy to make do on that for this one, as this episode is actually a pretty special one for multiple reasons, really. This fighter got back in the win column in a big way after dropping 2 in a row, and he becomes the only fighter to have now joined me 4 times on Forged in Ohio. He was on episodes 2, 25, 57, and now 92. You hear his voice in nearly every episode, though, in the show's intro. It's the one and only Luke McMurtry. Thanks for coming on the show for the 4th time, Luke, and welcome back to Forged in Ohio.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. Can't believe I'm the first one to be 4 times, you said, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, man, you were the second fighter to ever join me on Forged in Ohio. The first, I believe, to join me in studio while I was back at Akron. And now you're here for the 4th time. Very generous with your time, and I appreciate you very much. And I'd be a fool not to start with Cage Thunder 28 Fight Night in the Flats, where you snapped that 2-fight losing skid that I mentioned. The performance speaks for itself, but are you happy with the body of work you showed and what went down as a win for you inside the distance?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm obviously snapping that 2-fight skid streak. Felt amazing. Just getting that win out there in Cleveland and that venue too. Definitely meant a lot. So I was really happy with that. The skid streak sucked. I mean, it's only 2 fights in a row. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I think I just went kind of far into my amateur career without experiencing a loss. And then those 2 in a row being my first 2 losses ever, just it sucks, man. So getting that win definitely meant a lot, but I feel like I could have performed maybe a little better. Felt a little slow in there, especially during the first round. But, other than that, you take some, give some, and I definitely took some away. And I think I got a little bit better just from those 2 rounds. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, so talking after the fight, you told me that that wasn't exactly how you wanted to fight. What do you actually mean by that?
I mean, I think I did what I know and I did what I'm good at. That's my fight style. Just take them down and pound them out. And I know I'm good at that. I just really want to just expand kind of my horizon in terms of the way I fight. And I mean, I think it's no secret. A lot of people might say it's not the most exciting fighting style to watch, takedowns and ground and pound. I mean, I personally think it's cool, but I want to put on, fights that are just good, flashy banger fights, man. I want people to get excited when they see my name on a card. I want people to get excited to come out and know that if I'm fighting, that I'm going to put on a good show. And I just felt like, I mean, just starting out, especially just so slow, just almost a little rusty in there. I think I kind of managed to pick it up in the second round. It kind of started to get in my groove. But even then, I felt like I wasn't totally in my groove. And a little disappointing. I truly felt like I was comfortable starting the 3rd round, but then, the fight was over at that point. So it is what it is. I'll take a win. It was a dominant win, and I'm happy with it. So.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone could call that win boring. I know, sure, a lot of the fight did take place on the ground, but you landed a whole lot of ground and pound in both rounds 1 and 2. That caused him to not go into the 3rd round, right? Is this something that still bothers you in a way, that you're not fighting perhaps the way you want to, or fighting in a super, fascinating and electric style? Or are you happy by now, a few weeks removed from the fight, with how everything went down?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I can't not be happy with it. I mean, it was a dominant win, and I did what I needed to do and got out of there. Got out of there before the 9 minutes was over, so you can't be mad at that. But yeah, man, I just think, it's a learning process. I'm an amateur, and I've only been fighting for a couple years now, so I'm just still, learning and kind of moving along and trying to figure out a way to get my striking put together. I think it's, especially in the gym, it feels very good, but just getting that to transfer over to the cage, I'm still working on that. So we're going to get there eventually.
Your opponent, Denzel Wallace, his last fight was against your teammate, Brandon Billitzer. How much did Brandon help you in terms of knowing what to expect out there?
Their fight was even shorter than mine, so he wasn't in there too long with them. But I think just even watching their fight and yeah, just talking with Brandon a couple times, I think I knew, what a good game plan to be, just to get in there and know that I can take him down, know I have a good shot, and know that I have good ground game. So at the end of the day, that's what I felt towards doing, just taking him down and doing what I do, just pounding him out. So yeah, we had talked a bit about it, so definitely appreciated his insight. He's very knowledgeable about the fight game too. So anytime I can get words from him is definitely helpful to me.
When it comes to those expectations, did you expect your grappling and wrestling to be as effective, as it was at Cage Thunder 28?
I think, yeah, I know that I have that tool in my pocket. If I need to take someone down, I feel like I am very capable of taking most people down my size. So, yeah, I think it did what I needed it to. Like I said, I kind of planned on standing up more, and I think he hit me a couple times, and he was moving quick, and I felt like I needed to take him down, so that's what I did. Just kind of almost just muscle memory there, so you can't get mad at that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm glad to have that wrestling and that grappling ability in my back pocket, just to take that out whenever I need to. So.
I mentioned that serious ground and pound that you landed in both rounds 1 and 2. Were you surprised that Denzel Wallace decided not to continue into the third round?
Oh yeah, I was. Oh yeah, I was surprised. I knew I was hurting him. I just didn't know. It's such a flash in there. You don't know how much damage you're really doing. All I kind of was thinking was just keep hitting him, keep pounding him out. And yeah, I knew he was hurt, but I really thought he'd answer that bell, and I didn't expect it to happen at all. I know during that, in between that second and third round, Terry and Drew were both just really. I mean, they're the best corners, man. They were getting me super hyped up and just ready to go and bang out another third round. So yeah, I was shocked. I don't know. Well, I guess it's not on the video, but anyone who was there saw I was a little frustrated at first. And but real quick, I realized that, fight's over. I won, so no reason to be upset. And props off to him, man. I don't look bad on him for not answering the bell at all. So, and I told him that after the fight, so it's all good.
Yeah, so in the moment you were a little bummed and you wanted to continue. You wanted that third
Sure.
round. You wanted 3 or 5 more minutes.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely wanted it to go a third round. I was very intent on getting him out of there, very intent on finishing him, and I just didn't think it was going to happen that way. I felt like I was going to really try and get a TKO or a KO, or at least a submission in that third round. So it is what it is. Like I've said a couple times now, I can't be mad at it. So.
So given, the damage that you had done to him in rounds 1 and 2 and how you talked about how you were feeling, you were settling in going into a third round, would you have expected to get a finish if the fight actually did reach that third round?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was honing in. I truly felt like that third round I was going to come alive and kind of finally start speeding things up. I finally felt comfortable. I'm a bit of a slow starter when it comes to fight night, man. I've always kind of been like that, especially in some of my past fights, and that's just the way it is. I'm trying to work through that and find ways to get through that and get me started a little early, get moving a little quicker, a little earlier, but that's just the way I am in the cage, man. Start a little slow. So yeah, I definitely felt like I felt not tired at all, man. Really ready to come alive in that third round. So.
Is there something that you can do maybe in training to make sure that you do start a little bit faster? I know a lot of really good fighters are slow starters, but maybe if that's something you're trying to kick right now as an amateur fighter.
Yeah, definitely. It is something I would like to kick. I'd like to come out and fight the way I know I can fight and not feel like I need to get settled in, especially because you fight some of these higher level guys. If you need to take around to get settled in, some of these guys only need to take around to get you out of there. So I definitely would like to try and work on kicking that. As for how, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So me and my coaches are we're working on it, and I'm gonna get it figured out for sure. I've been, mentally just trying stuff in the gym and trying to simulate, fight night. But anyone who fights knows there's no simulating that, man. It's a different feeling than anything you can simulate when it's fight night. So yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I think it'll probably come with more experience too, just fighting more and getting more comfortable in there. So I think the venue probably didn't help at all. I was a little bit. At the end of the day, when you're in the cage, you're in the cage, and it doesn't matter what's on the outside. But I was definitely a little bit nervous just being at that venue. Such a cool venue. Didn't want to have to give up a loss in Cleveland. So I was just a little nervous because of that. But we're figuring it out, man.
Yeah, it's a good experience to have, and I was going to ask about that when it comes to
Oh
the
yeah.
event itself. How cool was it to fight in such an iconic venue like Jacobs Pavilion in the Flats?
Oh, it was awesome, man. And I think, like I said, once they locked the doors, and it was like this at the Civic Center, it's just kind of, then it doesn't matter. You almost can barely even see past your cornerman, and past that, it may as well be dark. I mean, that's how it is for me, at least. So once you're in there, just another fight. But definitely, like, the events leading up and just being there, the weigh-ins were awesome, and just having the view in the background, awesome, man. It was the coolest experience ever. Absolutely. I will say, excuse me. The only part that I didn't enjoy was warming up in the rain, in Air Jordans on the concrete. Definitely a first. Never warm up with shoes on before, let alone Air Jordans. But it is what it is. We got through that. I know there was those rain delays, and I think I ended up warming up about 3 times just because those delays kept happening. But we got through that, and it was what it was. A little frustrating, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have that fighting outside, so worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, so I think you were the second fight after what was about an hour and a half weather delay because of the rain and thunderstorms coming in. How much did that affect you as you prepared and tried to make sure, you reached that peak, at the right time on fight night?
I think almost all the guys back there would probably tell you like that sucked. That was the worst. Everyone was in a bad mood about it. Um, honestly, looking back on it, I kind of was like I didn't mind it as much. Um, I think just having that, like, I warmed up hard, getting ready, and I was kind of still a little shaky, a little nervous, but we warmed up real hard, and then we figured out I was gonna be sitting down for an hour, hour and a half, and I kind of cooled down a little bit, and I just kind of got a little bit more clear in my head, a little bit of time I don't know, just a little bit of time to rest in that actually helped in my personal experience. So, and then I warmed up again, and then we waited again, and then I warmed up again. So I was real warm when we went out. So that's always good.
Yeah, I bet, man. Did it affect your adrenaline at all? Like, reaching that peak at the right time, or were you good to go when like when you said you got in the cage and, you felt like you started to settle in?
Right. No, I think it did. Once I got in the cage, my adrenaline was up a little bit again, and it was what it was. But I think it absolutely did help my adrenaline because I think I was kind of having a dump when I was warming up to go out there right before the fight before me was about to go. I was kind of having a little bit of an adrenaline dump, just feeling like, anyone who fights can relate to that, just that adrenaline dump where your arms are just jello and you're just not feeling it. And I kind of had that happen, and then I had all of a sudden time for that to pass. And about 30 minutes into the delay, I just felt super calm and like just ready to go. And I think it almost helped me. And I think it's going to help me in the future with my game plan, just fight night, getting ready to go out there. I think I'm going to start warming up really, really early, and then just give myself time to just kind of let that adrenaline dump pass, and then and be a little bit more clear headed. So I'm almost a little grateful that happened.
Talk to me about the fight kit. You look sharp now, but you also look sharp on fight night in there with the green and also
Yeah.
the green and orange jersey, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, that was Drew, my coach Drew's idea. He got those made, and we got the matching jerseys going on. But yeah, man, I was pumped. I picked the colors out, and I thought we were looking fresh, so that was cool. We'll probably wear those again sometime, maybe.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I think it's your coach Drew who's also spreading the meme of that one picture, if you know what I'm
Oh
talking about.
yeah. Oh, there's a couple. Some other people have been making some, but oh, that had me laughing so hard, man. I had to repost the original picture. It was such a good picture of me just getting rocked, and my hair's like flying up. It was an amazing picture. And then yeah, people started taking it and making like some memes. There's one of me playing the fiddle, probably the funniest one, because my arms are both up like this as I'm getting hit. And yeah, man, those had me dying. It's too funny.
Yeah, if you want to check them out, link down below is Luke's Facebook. You can check him out there on his page. Talking with
Yes.
Luke McMurtry here on Forged in Ohio. Let's work our way a little backward now since you've fought 3 times since you were last on the show. You suffered submission
Yeah.
losses at Cage Thunder 25 and 26. We don't have to harp on them too much, but what did you learn most from going through that stretch in your career?
I think, and like I said earlier, that those were my first losses, and I took them not so late into my amateur career, but later on, later than most. I think going 5-0 and experiencing those losses just really, it was hard. It just took a toll on me. It definitely took away from some stuff. I know from the first loss I took at the Civic Center. I think besides me just kind of not showing up to fight, I think I just didn't warm up enough. I remember when I went out there and took my shirt off and walked in the cage, I like had the shivers. I was cold. That's how cold I was. So I think just making sure I get warmed up enough. Definitely learned that lesson. Oh, and another lesson: don't give your back up to experienced fighters, because they will take your back and choke you out. No, but yeah, seriously, in both those fights, man, just giving my back up, and that's one thing I'm trying to work on not doing now. It's part of me being a wrestler. As soon as I get down, I want to get back up. You're trying to get back up, and the only way you're getting back up is exposing your back. So you either need to do it quick or you need to not do it, because if you get someone who's experienced, especially like Jerry Patterson, who's good at jiu-jitsu, he's gonna. I mean, that guy's been fighting for what, 8 years now. That guy like that is gonna see that little glimpse of opportunity and take it, and he did, man. He got me out of there in what, I think it was 45 seconds, all because I was so quick, wanting to just get back up and just do my thing. And so I think I take away from that fight, just kind of don't need to be going in such a rush. Just kind of let yourself fall into the fight, kind of let yourself feel it out. You know what I mean? Like I think when he took me down, I got so just I was so hyped up on adrenaline and I wanted to go so hard. I came in with like a 1-1-2 and he was under me so quick and had me around my legs and dumping me like that, man. So I think I just need to work on not rushing in as much, which I feel like I did do in this last fight. Kind of let myself fall into the fight. And like I said earlier, it's bittersweet because I was kind of frustrated and I was moving a little slow, but I think there's a fine line between moving too slow and kind of rushing in that I need to find. So, yeah, I definitely took a lot from those two losses. Took a lot. Most thing I took from those two losses is I don't want to lose anymore. So,
Yeah, I bet. I think I remember seeing a Facebook post or something after the second loss at Case Thunder 26 saying that you weren't sure if you were going to do this anymore. How close were you to
yeah,
walking away, and how did that affect you mentally?
probably not that close. I was being a big baby. But yeah, like I said, man, just taking those losses and experiencing that after winning so much, it sucked that much more. So no, I was just being a baby, man. I couldn't see myself ever stopping doing this until I have to. I really love it. So.
How much did your coaches and teammates at Victory MMA pick you up? I know it's hard to go through an amateur career and stay undefeated. Some guys at your gym, Devin Watkins, Brandon Bilter, that we just talked about, like they are very talented fighters, but they have some losses on their record too, and that's okay. How much did those guys pick you up after that two loss streak there?
They did. I mean, in every aspect, not even just picking me up from the losses, but just in every aspect of fighting, man, they were just like so supportive. And I mean, without that team, it's too many guys to even name to start naming them. But without that team, man, I would and absolutely never be where I'm at now. So yeah, just crazy supportive, man. And I think some of those guys who are really good, like you mentioned, Devin and those guys, I think they took some losses earlier in their career than I did, and I think that really they got to learn that lesson sooner. Like losing sucks. Do everything you can to not lose, and I learned that lesson a little later. So either way, we both got the lesson now, and it is what it is. But yeah, man, the support there is unreal. It's really a team. It's really almost like a brotherhood. The guys that you train with every day and do camps with and work so hard with, you just want to see them. They want to see me win, and I want to see them win. And it's crazy. Like I know like talking with my teammates, we're always saying like when we watch each other fight, I'm so much more nervous than when you have to fight yourself. You just want them to win so bad. So yeah, man, the support is unreal. Like I said, it's really a brotherhood and I appreciate it.
I've heard on Forged in Ohio before that you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. Is that something that
Sure.
you can relate to now that you've experienced a loss or two?
I think for some people, maybe. I think a lot of people, I don't know. I guess I can only speak for myself, but I think for a lot of people, if they win a fight, however they win, they're just like, I won the fight. Who cares? It is what it is. I won. And myself, I'm very hypercritical of myself. I don't think I've ever come out of a fight and been like, that went perfect. It's always been something that I was looking back on that I was thinking like, oh, I could have did this better. I could have did that better. So, I think personally, for myself, no, I think I'm taking away from a win or a loss. I think any experience in that cage is beneficial to me. And but yeah, like I said, I can't speak for everyone else, man. Some guys will win and think they got nothing to look at. So
Kind of tying this into Cage Thunder 28, how motivated were you going into Fight Night in the Flats, and how much pressure maybe did you put on yourself knowing that if it didn't go your way, it would have been a third straight loss?
oh yeah, that's all I could think about, man. It's just I do not want to have 3 losses in a row. I knew, yeah, did not want to have 3 losses in a row. I feel like it definitely put a little more pressure on me. Nothing crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just another fight. I knew I want to win any fight, but definitely in the back of my mind, I think I was thinking three fight losing streak or skid is not good. So definitely, and I think that might have even correlated to me being in there and changing up my game plan a little bit and being like, let's just take this guy down and pound him out because I knew I could do that and I knew I wanted to win. I mean, I needed this win, man. So yeah, it definitely affected me a little bit, affected my fighting style a little bit in there.
With all that being said, how much sweeter did it make the win at Fight Night in the Flats?
Oh, it was great, man. Just I truly I believed in myself to win. I was expecting to win. I think you have to do that if you want to win. But yeah, to see it come to fruition was definitely it was a good night, man. I whatever happened for the rest of that night, I was unbothered. I was just very happy and in a great mood, man. It was awesome. Very satisfying, definitely. It was a bit of a hard camp, but it went well and everything paid off. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you have this new motivation and are rejuvenated, especially mentally, from where you were as a 5-0 fighter and how the past year has played out, and now that you have the win at Cage Thunder 28?
In terms of myself now as when I was 5-0, I think yeah, maybe a little rejuvenated, maybe a little bit more humble, which is good. Um, experience wise, yeah, I think I'm almost somewhat of a different person, a different fighter. Yeah, that win definitely rejuvenated me a little bit. I think like we talked about, the experience from the losses and the experience from the win just at the Jacobs Pavilion, is definitely contributing to how I'm thinking moving forward. And I mean, above all, the experience, especially as an amateur man. I mean, some of us at least are trying to become pros, and let's get in all the experience you can, man. I don't want to lose any fights, but if I got to take losses, I'd rather lose them as an amateur than as a pro. So yeah, I think I'm moving forward and with good intentions, and yeah, those last 3 fights, win or lose, all 3 of them have contributed to the way I'm moving right now and the way I'm thinking. So absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like in hindsight, you're almost grateful for that experience. The last year going to 0-2 in two
Sure.
fights and then bouncing back in a big way at Cage Thunder 28. And is that true? Are you grateful for that experience and how it's almost shaped who you've become now?
Oh, absolutely. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna be grateful for any experience I get in the cage, just because I know it's making me better. It's every minute I'm in there, it's making me a better fighter and just more experience. So yeah, I'm grateful. And like I said, I'm an amateur and I took those losses, and that's all right. And maybe I'll lose again as an amateur, and that's okay. I'm not planning on it, but I'm an amateur fighter, man. I'm trying to get that experience. So yeah, I'm grateful for just the opportunity to do it. Win, lose, or draw, absolutely.
Once again, this is Luke McMurtry here on Forged in Ohio. Another wrinkle in what went down at Cage Thunder 28 is that you were called out, my friend. 2 fights after
Yes.
yours, Cody Wilson called you out after picking up a unanimous decision win of his own. Is that a fight you're interested in?
I mean, I can't say I'm not, man. What I'm interested in is, challenging myself, and I'm interested in giving people a fight that they want. And I've been seeing a lot of people say that this is a fight that they would like to see. Yeah, I want to be, like I said earlier, I want people to know that I'm fighting and to get excited for it. So if that's the fight people want to see, then I'm not. I mean, not gonna come on here and make any final decisions, but I'm definitely very interested. Everyone knows I want my belt back, so that's a thing too. Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting fight, man. He's a stud. He's strong. We both kind of have a similar fighting style. Take him down, pound him out. So be interesting to see who can do that to the other first.
Yeah, for sure. I know you were talking about getting your featherweight championship back in your post-fight interview. Is that your number one focus, your number one goal right now in your careers to get that title back?
I think my number one focus in my career right now is just to become a pro fighter above all. And I think that is going to come through, like I said, the experience. I think definitely maybe getting that belt back is a stepping stone to doing that. So yeah, I'm definitely that might be like a side quest for me for sure to get that belt back. I'd love to have it back, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what my coaches think is right for me to become better. I've followed them this far, and I've gotten this far with them, so I'm not gonna stop listening to them now. So definitely, we're gonna talk about that fight and see what's best for me. But yeah, man, I more than anything, I want to be a professional fighter. So whatever I can do to get me to that point, I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, I like that answer, man. I'm not sure if you were able to watch Cody's fight at Cage Thunder 28, but were you impressed by his latest performance, or maybe what he's shown before in the cage if you hadn't watched it?
Yeah, I think I've seen some of his other fights. I missed his fight at Jacob's Pavilion, but I heard he was tossing this guy around. So, yeah, I like to toss guys around too. We can see who can toss the other.
When you imagine it, what does a fight look like between Luke McMurtry and Cody Wilson?
Um, I think it might just be that. I think there might be a lot of grappling and see who can get the upper hand there. But I think I think he. No offense to Cody, but I think there's definitely a flaw in his stand up. I think there's a flaw maybe in his striking ability, and I think I might be able to capitalize on that there. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, you've kind of talked about it already, but I think it's fair to say that you and Cody are strongest in the same areas when it comes to the grappling and wrestling in MMA. How confident are you
Yeah.
that you would win a fight against Cody in that area and what you guys are both best at?
I'm pretty. I mean, I know experience-wise, I definitely got more experience than him in there. I've been, and I'm not sure, how all of his fights have gone. I think he's got one loss, so he's experienced loss. But I mean, I've been put in pretty bad positions before, and one thing I can say, I will find a way to bite down and get the fight finished however I need to do it. So if he lets me get him into those later rounds, I think that's going to be an issue for him because I mean I know I have the stamina, and he's got all those muscles, man. All those muscles, it's a lot of weight to carry when you get in them late rounds. So we can see who can last longer when we get in them deep waters.
Yeah, for sure. I know you said you have to talk to your team about what's next for you and the correct next step, but how confident are you that that's going to be the fight, you against Cody Wilson, potentially for the Cage Thunder amateur featherweight title? I know you guys are ranked 1 and 2 right now.
Right, right. I mean, man, I can't say. I don't want to say one thing and then another thing happens, but I don't see why we wouldn't. We both want it, so Civic Center, maybe it'll happen.
I was going to mention that Cage Thunder 29 in December at the Canton Civic Center. What would it mean to you to almost right the wrong from last year, and win your belt back in the same building you lost it in your backyard at the Canton Civic Center?
Right. It would mean everything, man. And I know, just look, I had so much regret about that fight because, like I said, I don't think that fighter. I mean, he sent me on Teague. He's a phenomenal fighter, very skilled. I think it was definitely a huge step up for me in competition. But I don't think he's out of my league, and I don't think he's unbeatable for me. I think I just didn't show up. I was cold going out there, so made some mistakes and got a little discouraged after my first round there. So when I couldn't take him down, I got discouraged. But if we were to go back this year to fight again, to whoever I would fight, it's going to be a different fighter to show up in me. It's going to be not someone who's worried about not getting a takedown in the first round. I know for sure I'm going to be warm because I figured out how to do that. So, so yeah, to expect that if I'm there, it's going to be 100% me, and I'm going to definitely pour my heart into it. And if I come up short, I come up short, but I'm not going to come up short because I quit. I'm not going to come up short because I didn't give my all. So that much I can promise.
Regardless of the opponent or if a title is on the line, we have to get you back on that Canton Civic Center show day, right?
I agree, definitely. It's an awesome fight in there, man. I would love to be back there, and that's gonna line it up for me. Timing wise, take a little time off, work on some stuff, and yeah, timing wise, that'd be perfect for me. So.
Yeah, I feel like every single time I've checked in with you, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but I asked you on episode 2 about turning pro one day, and I knew nothing back then about what it took to actually make that transition. Now that you're 6 and 2 with a potential amateur title fight next, or maybe one more amateur fight, is the idea of turning pro, it sounds like that's closer to the top of your mind.
It is, man. Like I said, I want it more than anything, just to say I did it and to just see what I can do as a pro. And I've talked with my coaches about it, and I think I'm definitely have some steps to take before I make that transition, man. Because once you make that transition into fighting professional fighters, you're not fighting anyone who's bad. First of all, everyone's good, you know. And once you make that step up, you can't come back. You can't be like, well, I shouldn't have done this. I need to go back and be an amateur for a little bit. Once you're a pro, you're a pro. So I just don't want to make that step prematurely. I would see myself taking another handful of fights probably as an amateur just to make sure I'm ready, you know. Probably fight some higher level opponents just to get my feet wet in, you know, higher level fighting. So.
How about this? True or false, Luke McMurtry makes his pro debut in 2025?
Oh, I can't I mean, you never know what'll happen, man. 2020. I mean, could be at the end of the year. I don't want to say anything for sure. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what the future holds. It all depends on, I think, my next probably 3 fights. And I think at the end of 2025, I'll be another 3 fights in. So I can't say it's out of the question, but I just don't want to get ahead of myself. So.
Yeah, I kind of put you on the spot with that one. How much
Oh, no worries.
How much are you looking forward to competing as a pro fighter one day? Not only, you know, getting paid, but having more weapons at your disposal in Ohio and being able to, you know, weigh in the day before your fight instead of these same day weigh-ins.
Oh, that's probably the best part, man. Just weighing in a day before. Those weigh-ins is so hard, man. Trying to weigh in at noon or whatever and just get your body hydrated again and get fed and then have to fight that night. So 100% the most excited for weighing in the day before. That would be awesome. But yeah, I think just having more weapons at my disposal. I think you know, we work on that stuff, you know, in the gym. Always work on the elbows and the knees and stuff. And I know I've got some pretty nasty knee attacks, and I got a pretty strong right elbow. So definitely just looking forward to using those weapons in a fight. Don't know how much I'm looking forward to getting elbowed in the face, but you know, comes with the business. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, that's certainly something I'm looking forward to seeing potentially next year, a pro debut for Luke McMurtry. But right now, the hunger is there to reclaim your featherweight title for Cage Thunder and get some more experience and get some more amateur fights under your belts. Like I do for every episode, anything you want to shout out, I want to give you the opportunity, social media handles, things going on at the gym, I'll give you the floor.
I can't, not much to say, man. Only people I can shout out is my team and Terry and Drew. I mean, I ride for those guys and they ride for me, so that's really all I can say.
All right, there you have it. Thanks again, Luke, for coming on the show. It was great to see you get back to your winning ways in the flats, and I can't wait to see you compete next. You've joined the show 3 times before, so you're very familiar with this next part. It's the OHIO chant that I do with all guests at the end of the show. So, OH...
Ayo!
Thanks, Luke. I appreciate all the time you've given me across 4 episodes now. Congrats again on a
Absolutely,
big win
man.
at Cage Thunder 28, and you know you're welcome back anytime for a 5th appearance on the show.
Oh, it'll happen, man. Maybe I'll be a pro at that time.
All right, man, you bet. That was Luke McMurtry, the 6-2 amateur mixed martial artist, and what a conversation that was with Luke McMurtry. He faced adversity, right? After an incredible 5-0 start to his career, not only did he win his first fight in about a year at Cage Thunder 28, but he did so with perhaps his most impressive performance yet. I think Luke McMurtry versus Cody Wilson makes a lot of sense next for the Cage Thunder Amateur Featherweight Championship. It's 2 men that I like and I have a lot of respect for, but that would be an incredible brawl that I would love to see before the end of the year. You should already know where to find the show on social media. If you don't, just search at Forged in Ohio on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and drop the show a follow on those platforms. If you happen to be watching on YouTube right now, give this video a like and comment down below who you'd like to see on the show next. Thank you all for watching or tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Jake Murren, and this was Forged in Ohio.